Hello, and welcome to My Dog Will Eat My Face. This is episode 49, I believe. For only technical reasons, I have to assign an episode number, even though this is a bonus episode for the fourth holiday. I just wanted to reach out to my fellow Americans who are amongst my listeners and wish them a very happy Independence Day. I hope it goes well for you. And I must say, I hope it goes better than how mine has gone so far. I've had a little bit of, what shall we call it, unfriendly excitement throughout my holiday morning, and I'm hoping that the evening lightens up a little bit, and I can get some R&R and rest up. I'll get into more detail here in a little bit as to what happened through my holiday, and I assure you it'll probably make you feel better about your holiday, even if you're just sitting at home doing nothing. Trust me, that was better than what I had to deal with on my holiday. In fact, my plan was to sit around and play a video game. That was it. That was my plan, and I failed utterly so far to accomplish that because of several emergencies that occurred, and I had to take care of that. So I'll get into what happened here in the next segment, but with respect to the holiday itself, it's a pretty meaningful day for a lot of reasons. I know a lot of Americans don't feel a lot of patriotism these days, and nationalism is often seen as a code word for xenophobia of some sort. I don't really buy into that. Again, this is totally a non-political podcast. I'm not here to ruffle any feathers, but the creation of the United States and the subsequent war that followed are really incredible studies if you look at it purely from a world history standpoint. And I think that's undeniable no matter where you stand with respect to how things are today and how things should go in the future. The way the United States was created and the counterinsurgent asymmetric warfare that was used to basically frustrate and lead to the capitulation of a global superpower is studied now in military history throughout the world. I actually did study extensive military history in college. My degree is actually in military intelligence, and understanding the battlefront and the blood and guts, so to speak, of that operation was part of my schooling and training, and we definitely looked at the American Revolutionary War, and again, in terms of an asymmetric battle and an asymmetric war, where you have a ragtag army and militias able to force the capitulation of a global superpower was the first event of that magnitude in world history. It is truly phenomenal. It would be like the United States invading, no, not invading even. It would be like the United States having Vermont and the northeastern states declare independence, and we attack them to keep them within the Union and lose. And what it really demonstrates to the rest of the world, or at least what it really demonstrated the Revolutionary War to the rest of the world, this is why it's a global event, is that there are ways to fight a far superior force and to win. And that is truly an amazing shake-up in military study and thought at that time. At the time, there was really no concept, I don't think, of counterinsurgency or asymmetrical warfare of any sort. But with that revolution, that changed all that. And it was truly a global event that inspired a lot of other movements throughout the world to declare independence for themselves, even though they were the weaker party, as it so often is under colonialism. So, even if you're a non-American, it's truly an amazing day from a world history perspective. I'm a history buff, so I look at it heavily from that perspective because I'm a geek, and I think it's just amazing what you can learn from it, and it shows how the little guy could really beat Goliath. It was truly a David and Goliath story, and it shows that there are ways to survive and to outmaneuver and to frustrate and even force the surrender of a much more powerful enemy. And take that to heed with your personal life, what that means there. It's pretty inspiring, at least it is to me. Any story of the little guy overcoming, a larger party, the David and Goliath story, has always been something of an inspiration to me because of my health problems, frankly. And that partly has inspired me in my life to do things and to fight for things and to succeed. And that's no joke. Things like that I fought for in my life, where I was very much the little guy, were partly, in my mind, fueled by my knowledge of the American Revolution and how there are certain methods with which you can frustrate and overcome your enemy. I think the Romans had some concept of this, where Virgil himself said, all mastery can be achieved through endurance. And that's kind of close to some of the strategies of asymmetrical warfare, that is, to not go to a toe-and-toe fight for the most part, and frustrate from the sides and do not go into a direct confrontation and survive. And that endurance will bring you the victory. So it's interesting, the Romans, even back 2,000 years ago, were developing some theories when it comes to this topic. Anyway, I'll shut up. This is the longest intro of my life, just because I'm a military history geek. I love talking about it. And I wanted to just wish my fellow Americans a happy Independence Day. But this next segment, I'll try to describe why mine was a debacle and why my voice sounds like I've been out smoking all night. So bear with me, and I'll explain what happened shortly. So, my 4th of July started quietly and without much event at first. I decided to get some basic essentials through Instacart from the grocery store, just some drinks and snacks and stuff. It's hard for me to do it on a holiday because the leasing office is closed. So that means I have to physically go all the way outside with my oxygen tank and meet them just to let them come in the building. Anyway, I did that and put away the groceries, and at that point I was feeling pretty fatigued and needed a rest and I was short of breath and all that good stuff, and frankly that's to be expected. So even though that's not fun and unpleasant, I'm not complaining about it. I mean, at that point I knew that would happen. It's just part and parcel of me doing really anything physical. I get very taxed, unfortunately, and I decided dealing with that was worth getting what I needed from the store. So you just have to make that kind of trade-off decision, and I went with it. Anyway, that being said, I decided, well, I should increase the oxygen flow of my concentrators and switch to a mask so I get the higher flow of oxygen. I did that, and at first everything was fine, but then I noticed one of the gauges on one of the concentrators, because unfortunately I have 2 of them, was not reading correctly. And so I played with it. Long story short, I started to have massive issues with both concentrators, where the gauges were reporting completely crazy numbers. My humidifiers were spraying water all over the floor. I had one concentrator completely flip out and shut down entirely, which triggers a red light, creates a huge, horrible, loud alarm, and a notice saying to call for technical support. And so basically everything like magic between the 2 concentrators just fell apart. I'm not going to get into all the details of what I was looking at and the diagnostics I was trying to do and how I was trying to fix it. One, because I don't want you to shoot yourself in the face out of boredom. And 2, I don't want to retell it and relive it because I might shoot myself in the face just out of agony of having to relive it. But I did eventually get a tech out here, but it came at a high price. My oxygen rate that I was getting on the concentrators at this time was not what it should have been, and it was lower than what it should have been, and so I was suffering pretty bad. At one point I even fainted. This occurred before I knew the concentrators were malfunctioning, but I think in hindsight it has a pretty clear catalyst, that is the concentrators not working correctly. And long story short, finally got a tech person out on the holiday. Took him a while, and I was suffering at the lower oxygen rate the whole time. He made some minor changes and some other things. He reversed from what other technicians adjusted things and told me the exact opposite answer to certain questions that I got from other technicians. But I just let him do his job and fix it. And the good news is, finally, at the end of all that, I went from turning purple, which I actually was turning purple. I was doing rather poorly. Even at rest, my oxygen rate was very low, and my pulse was about 140 or higher. So my pulse was just racing, just at rest. And the technician, that is, when he saw me, when he first met me, I was indeed turning purple right before his very eyes, slowly but surely. Then at the end, when we were kind of going over all the changes that were made and how to make adjustments to the leader flow and things like that, he said, well, hey, look, you're standing here and talking to me and you're pink again. So I went from purple to pink. So that was my sure telltale sign that it was fixed and he fixed it. But it was a fiasco to get from point A to point B. This quick summary is just that the events that actually transpired of diagnostic work and testing and trying to fix these stupid concentrators, the total elapsed time was probably at least 6 hours, somewhere in there. I mean, almost a full day's work. And it was really rough on me. I was already, from the very beginning, from the groceries, I was already beaten down physically. When I tried to get relief, it broke everything, and that actually made it worse rather than get me relief. And so it physically really beat me down, just terribly, absolutely terribly. And I'm feeling it now that, my voice is cracking. I feel dehydrated. I've got bad edema in my feet and my legs from being up all day dealing with the technicians and stuff. And of course my heart just getting weaker, so I'm retaining more fluid, or at least not pumping it correctly to the heart. And I don't know. I've still got a few other things I have to recover from, but at least I'm now pink. And I don't look like the Walking Dead. Man, I probably looked like that when I went outside. People screamed and said, "Oh my God, it's a walker!" Yeah. I'm lucky no one took a headshot. That's what I think. No one took a headshot. Whew, that makes for a good day for me. So, all in all, it was rough, but I'm taking it all in stride and in high spirits. Not letting it ruin my whole day and my whole life. I'm already feeling better and will continue to feel better, but just know that no matter how lousy your 4th was, unless it was something catastrophic, like if you got in a car accident and ended up needing a leg amputated or something like that, I can't compete with that. Yeah, obviously that's way out there. but at least from a normal human standpoint, from day-to-day life, for most people I know, my 4th will definitely make yours look truly enjoyable, no matter what it was. And I do sincerely hope you did find it enjoyable, and I hope no one else had a day of emergencies and turning purple, suffocating under your own weight, as I had to deal with. So that was my Independence Day. So, with all that being said, I just want to close out by, again, wishing my fellow Americans a very happy Independence Day. And to my listeners around the world, I hope you can take some historical perspective from the day at least. And if you're a history buff or military history geek like I am, at least enjoy the background and the impact that the event of the revolution had. And, it might have even led to the independence of your own country, leading some inspiration there. It could have happened. And tactics learned in that war been certainly used by probably all countries by now around the globe. So the impact is again pretty significant from just a historical and a military standpoint. So if you're a history geek like me, I hope you enjoy that aspect of it and learning about it. If you're not, if you're completely bored by all that and couldn't care less, well, you know what? I hope you have a great day anyway. I hope you have a day of being independent and free and doing something that you might enjoy. So how about that? I think we can all agree that those are good goals to have for the day. It's just to have some independence, some freedom, and some joy. I think that would feed a lot of people's appetite. So, I wish you the best. This is not the official podcast for this week. The official podcast will be published shortly here to come. I believe by tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, the 5th. So look for that podcast. When you're viewing the podcast, be sure to click follow and turn on notifications so you're notified of these new podcasts, including bonus ones such as this one. They're not even monetized. I don't make a dime. It's just a blab and wish a happy holiday to my listeners, and just keep it simple. Yeah. Anyway, I hope you get a chance to listen to the podcast coming up later. And until then, I will have to say ciao for now.